The Colorado Rockies had much to celebrate in 1995. A beautiful new ballpark, a team that made it to the postseason in just its third year, and the most loyal, passionate fans in baseball. To help guide us on our journey through the 95 season, 6 season ticket holders.
This is a place where I could laugh with my kids and high-five with my kids and watch a second grader keep score.
This place was just rumbling, and you could just feel the stand shake.
All I remember is going to work a lot of days rather hoarse.
Kingery going back, turns around, great catch on the warning track!
And the potential for runs being scored late in the game, anybody coming back, I knew there was still a chance.
That ball's hit a long way, and you can kiss it goodbye! It's all over!
The management and the ownership has just come through for the fans, I think.
Dante.
This may go to the concourse.
It does.
It's like building blocks, and you put them all together, and we've got the 95 season, which will go down in history.
No place like home. The 1995 Rockies and their fans. For the third straight year, the Rockies held spring training at High Corbett Field in Tucson, Arizona, where that special bond between the team and its fans was already evident. The Rockies had acquired free agent Bill Swift to bolster their pitching staff, and they signed Larry Walker. Rockies fans knew that they had played a role.
He's probably the premier right fielder in the game. Whatever it took to get him, I believe the people in Colorado made that possible by the fan attendance.
They've been able to spend more money in Colorado because of the support we've had, and as players, we're very thankful because we think we can bring back a championship there.
As the season approached, Colorado proudly unveiled the beautiful Coors Field, baseball's newest ballpark. And as the finishing touches were being put in place, the Rockies' newest right fielder, Larry Walker, received a special tour from the team's public relations director, Mike Swanson.
Hey, Larry, welcome to Coors Field.
Thanks, Wani.
Hey, you want to go take a look at it?
Yeah, let's go do it.
Let's go.
All right.
So, Larry, here's your new clubhouse.
Oh, boy.
What do you think?
Rather large, isn't it? Is this for both teams or just our team?
No, it's just our club.
Wow. That's pretty big. That's my locker, huh?
33.
I could sleep in there. Oh, that's pretty, it's a rather large locker. I got 2 empty ones on my side. I can get rid of the walls. I can just have a full thing. I can have a little luncheon room over here and put a toilet over there.
And it's heated in here like everything else in the ballpark.
This is a hot park.
So, Larry, why don't you get dressed and we'll show you the rest of the ballpark.
Okay, let's do it.
This is right field, a little different than Olympic Stadium, huh?
Well, yeah, it looks a little larger out here. A few different textures on the wall. Could be some interesting bounces this year. Hoping I'll get made look like a fool sometimes.
Not you, Larry.
Walker, hit one up here. Ah, yeah, right, you bum. Strike out again. Get back in the dugout.
So, Larry, pretty good-sized dugout, huh?
Yeah, it's nice. A lot of room to move around. Got some telephones, so order some pizzas in when you're hungry. Got some heaters under the seat to keep your rear end warm when it gets down below freezing. We got it made. It's nice in here.
You got a heated field, heated bench. You can't ask for anything else.
Heat everywhere.
What do you think of the turf out here?
Well, it's nice and level. Feels hot though.
I understand there's a heater underneath it.
Is there?
Yeah.
It's heated?
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. God, that feels good. Damn, oh man. Think I'll get in trouble if I sit like this during the game?
Yeah, just turn around and face the infield.
Oh, that'd work pretty good. Yeah, that'd be good if I did that. That's nice.
So, Larry, these guys behind home plate, they're pretty close to you, huh?
Yeah, there's not a lot of room here, so it makes for a couple of interesting things on a pass ball or a wild pitch. You better be careful at third if you're going to try and score, and watch your language. These people might hear you and get really upset. I'll have to learn that for the whole year.
Think you remember that, eh?
I'll remember that, eh?
Thought I'd drop that on you. I wanted you to feel at home.
Thank you, eh?
Hey.
Appreciate it.
Come on, I want to show you something special here at Coors Field.
Oh, super.
You'll be excited when you get up here.
Not that we haven't already practiced today, and this is our 10th take.
See this purple row of seats?
Uh-huh.
Step right on in there.
Is something special going to happen?
Yeah.
Woohoo!
You are officially 1 mile above sea level.
Is that what this is?
5,280 feet.
That is a long ways. I don't even know what to say.
Speechless. Breathtaking.
I'm speechless.
Is it breathtaking?
Yeah. Breathtaking, all right. I can hardly breathe. Tried to get the Rockies to find me a place to stay, and this was the best they could do. This is for the really skinny kids to slide down. Really skinny kids come flying down that. It's supposed to be pretty much fun.
Welcome to the Sandlot Brewery. Only ballpark in the United States, maybe even the world, that has a pub right in it.
And that's them right there, where they brew the beer.
So Larry, those things make you a little thirsty, don't they?
Well, I tell you, after climbing all those stairs today like we did, I am pretty thirsty. And I think it's Coors Field time.
Why don't we go over here?
All right. Well, check it out, Swanee. You probably think these are sample glasses, but really these are Eric Young glasses. This is what he uses. This is a regular size glass for you right there, but this is what Eric Young drinks out of.
So Larry, what do you think of your new home?
Well, it's pretty impressive, Swanee. I can't wait to play here.
Well, opening day is just around the corner.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun year.
Yeah, it should be. Well, hey, thanks for coming out early.
Okay, you bet. We'll see you opening day.
Okay, we'll see you, man. All right, take care.
Finally, April 26th, opening day at Coors Field. But under a blanket of snow, it felt more like December.
You gotta have a hat today. It's gonna be a hot one in there.
But snow is just a passing fancy in Colorado.
It was a very festive atmosphere. There were those ragtime bands outside, barbershop quartets. It had a very old-time baseball feel to it in keeping with the park.
Take me out with the crowd, buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, let me root for the Rockies. If they don't win, it's a shame.
Or it's
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
And as game time approached, 47,228 fans settled into their breathtaking new home.
Everyone was just in awe of the stadium. You know, no one had been in here. It was like you didn't know whether to watch the game or just wander around, you know, like a kid in a candy store looking at all the different areas and the hidden treasures.
Well, whether wandering or watching, the priority was keeping warm.
I remember stepping out on the field for the first night, and it was like, I don't even know how cold it was. It was freezing that night. We had long johns on. And
you actually didn't feel cold because it was just the warmth of everybody in the stadium together watching what was going on.
Game time, and the focus turned to starter Bill Swift. But this game was anything but swift.
And Walt Weiss with the first Rockies hit in Coors Field. He'll go into the books. Punched into left field, base hit. Coming in to score is Weiss. Rounding second, Girardi. Heading for third. Heading for second is Walker. A stand-up, wrong way double. 1-0 Rockies.
With the Rockies trailing 7-6, Larry Walker came up in the ninth looking for his third RBI.
That's a base hit into the alleyway. They're going to have to hurry it back. Butler with the relay. They're sending it home. Sweet. It's tied up.
But far from over.
It is 9-8 for the Mets for the last of the 14th. 43 players have been used in this game. The game has been tied at 5, at 6, at 7, and at 8.
You know, we were ready to win. That was 14 innings, and it was cold. And we'd fought back several times in that game to stay in the game.
I think the enthusiasm overwhelmed any feelings of cold, and I didn't think about it, although I have to admit that in the 14th inning, I was really hoping for an end.
Dante Bichette, 1 for 5 with a run batted in and a double. A base hit would tie the game most likely again.
You know, I was just trying to lock in and just trying to zero in on getting a good pitch to hit. And I had a left-hander on the mound, I remember, and I've hit left-handers well, so I liked my chances of hitting something hard.
We're all sitting here, what if? And it's like, no, there's no way possible that he could actually hit a home run.
Dante, over the last few years, does have a flair for the dramatic.
You know, we're sitting here and my daughter and I start our Dante chant.
Coach Joe? Is Bichette pressing a little bit tonight?
Well, it seems like he's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
You sit here playing that game. Wouldn't that be neat if he did? And you could hear it. Everybody was saying it. It wasn't just you thinking that, but everybody was thinking that.
I knew if we got a couple guys on, I'd have a chance to win it, and that's what I went to play for. I went to the plate for one thing, and that was to hit a home run and win that game.
High drive, way back, and there's the storybook ending for the Rockies. The Rockies have won it on the home run by Bichette at last.
When I hit it, I knew I got it good, and it was such a relief because it had been such a weird off-season. You know, to finally get out there and play ball and hit one to win the game, the first ever in Coors Field. I mean, it'll be remembered from me forever, and I'm sure the fans that were there that night will be remembered forever. So, I mean, it was such a relief and just such a pump when I hit that thing. I just had to clench my fist, man, and you know, I wasn't trying to show up anybody, although some people might have taken it that way. I was really excited about the hit.
It was a thrilling time for just everybody, but I think the bond that Dante had with the fans at that particular time really kind of set the tone for the entire season, for the fans. Never leave your seat because this ball club was going to come back.
Swung on, line drive, base hit, and the Rockies have won the game.
Right from the start, the Rockies made it very clear this was no ordinary third-year team.
And it's a ground ball to third. Castilla comes up with it, throws him out, and the Rockies win it 2-1. And Colorado undefeated in the early part of this 1995 season.
Pitch to Girardi, swinging a bouncer back to the mound, off the glove. Coming home with the winning run is Mejia on an infield hit by Girardi. And the Rockies have won for the fourth time in a row in their last at-bat at Coors Field.
We won some games in that stretch in the ninth inning on our last at-bat, and I think when you win games like that, it kind of brings the team together early, and that was one of the things that was key, was to bring this team together early, because this team has been thrown together in 3 years, and every year we add a guy here, we add a guy there, we get a Bill Swift, we get a Larry Walker, and Walt Weiss last year. And they really got everybody together when you win games like that.
He got the breaking ball in the air. 8-5 Colorado. Here's the pitch, swung on, driven to deep right field, and this one is going. It is gone. A grand slam for Dante Bichette. 3-2 pitch. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, and the ball game is over. And the Rockies have swept their old nemesis, the San Francisco Giants, a team that had defeated them 17 out of 23 times in the first 2 years. Not so far in 1995, a 3-game series sweep.
15 games, 11 wins, 4 defeats. Not bad. In mid-May, the Rockies descended on Atlanta, and a team against whom they were 2-23 at the time. What's more, they were slated to face Greg Maddux, a man who never seemed to lose.
And Greg Maddux in the middle of a mound.
Greg Maddux obviously is who Greg Maddux is. He doesn't need any introduction.
But the Rockies said, "How are you?"
Toward right field, another hit. It is 3-0.
The Rockies went on to score 2 more runs, but Atlanta countered with 5 of its own. Then in the 8th, Mike Kingery singled home Andres Galarraga, and the Rockies had beaten the mighty Maddux 6-5, one of just 2 losses he'd suffer all year.
I know it was a huge stepping stone anytime we beat the Atlanta Braves and beat their #1 pitcher in Greg Maddux.
Just a few weeks later, bench coach Don Zimmer, a valuable part of the Rockies' first coaching staff, decided to take some time off from baseball, leaving behind some wonderful memories.
He really was there for me to bounce things off of, to absorb as much as I could of the 40-plus years that he's been around the game. Then once that security blanket wasn't there, my managing ability leaped out a little bit. And I think he helped me the first 2 years to get to that point.
Don Zimmer, great player,
coach, manager, and no matter where he goes as a member of the Rockies, he's the first in the ballpark and the last to leave.
Does he have some stories or what?
Oh, he's great.
You get him going on telling stories and he can just go for hours and hours.
Don Zimmer brings something real special to any ball club he's associated with because of his 47 years of experience, his stories, his tremendous relationship with not only the players but the other coaches and the fans. He's a true baseball person. I don't think this organization would be where it is without Don Zimmer's help and his expertise in so many different ways.
Making memories was also the topic in June, when several Rockies players joined Andres Galarraga to donate money to help refurbish baseball fields in the metro Denver area.
Baseball needs to be played by the young kids, and who knows, right here in this field, there might be a future Rocky playing this week. Let's go and play baseball.
And the first pitch at the first refurbished field was caught by Andres at first.
All right!
Well, Andres Galarraga might be a pussycat off the field, but on it, he's the Big Cat. It's a name he wears well, but where exactly did it come from?
Big Cat's just got his nickname from just being quick as a cat, I guess.
The cat! Oh, he reaches, he stretches, he scratches.
The cat comes up, my daughter growls.
Here's the pitch to the cat. He drives one right center field. Long run for Grissom, trying to chase it down. It's off the top of the wall. Oh, did he hit that ball hard?
Hardest single hit in Coors Field history.
But like any big cat, he likes to stretch him now and then.
That ball is going to be off the wall!
My daughter's screaming, the cat did it, the cat did it.
A triple for the Big Cat.
No surprise here, but you can also find this cat on the porch.
Galarraga, deep drive. That ball's going. It ain't coming back.
Nobody can top Andres Galarraga's.
Vintage Andres Galarraga.
But the Big Cat's engine never purred smoother than on June 25th in San Diego.
Whoa! Bye, bye.
This is high and deep. Oh, the catwalk is out of here. Back-to-back home runs.
No Rocky has ever hit 3 in a game.
This is out of here. He has done it.
Second deck, baby. Yeah, way up in the second deck.
Charlie, that's the longest home run that I've ever seen hit in this stadium, and I broadcast the Padres for 11 years.
The last one he hit, I think you can probably put 5 or 6 flight attendants on it.
A bit further down the right field line, Larry Walker, who juggles 2 reputations at the same time, a great glove and a cannon arm.
Here's a line drive to right, and Candiati, who is not a great hitter, might get thrown out at first. It is! Larry Walker came in on that base hit to right and erased it from the scoreboard.
And the expression on this guy's face is like, oh my God, how did he do that?
He's picked up some balls off the wall and thrown people out at second base this year. It's been really impressive. And that play right there might be the most exciting play in baseball.
Backing up is Walker. This one's going to have to be played off the scoreboard and is barehanded by Walker. Throw to second base. Going to be close. He is out at second base on a brilliant defensive play by Larry Walker.
Players towards the end of the season would not run on Larry Walker.
Walker's got the great arm. Let's see. They're going to hold up Martin. They will not test, so he threw a strike.
They took note and appreciated that person out there that I'm not taking the chance. It's not worth it.
Larry is a magician in the outfield, but even more so at the plate, where his bat is full of tricks.
I've never had anybody that can do as many things as he can do. He can lay down a bunt.
He bunts. He may beat it out. He is going to beat it out. What else you want him to do?
Or he can hit one 450 feet.
Breaking ball hammered to deep right, and you can kiss it goodbye. Upper deck shot into the second deck beyond the bullpen.
And Larry Walker thinks every time he hits a single, he's thinking double.
This is going to drop in. Lonia will take it on the hop, and Walker is going to go for two. Here comes the throw. He's got it. Oh, he gambles and he makes it.
If I had somebody to watch a film on base running, Larry Walker would be the guy I would say, watch this guy.
Runner goes, and Walker is in with a steal.
Larry's probably got the best swing of any of us. He kind of anchored us with a big left-handed bat.
Walker, long drive to left, and it is gone. And Larry Walker is on fire.
Hot enough to hit 20 homers and drive in 50 runs by the All-Star break.
And now, leading off for the Rockies, number 9, third baseman, Vinny Castilla.
Batter up. And here comes Vinny.
The All-Star break was one to remember for Rockies third baseman Vinny Castilla.
Vinny, bye.
Castilla gave hints of greatness in '94, but in '95 he would emerge as the sleeper hit of the year.
My cousin Vinny, I don't think the Rockies were expecting very much at all from him.
The surprise there is probably Vinny Castilla.
Vinny came up and was given the opportunity to play every day.
He enjoys playing.
He's just been fantastic.
And well deserving of playing in the All-Star game.
Vinny hit 32 home runs, drove in 90, and got 163 hits. Each total, a career best.
This one is high and deep, and no question about it. It's out of here.
Vinny swings, hits it deep to left. Adios! A home run for Castilla.
Vinny's kind of like a firecracker. He's kind of quiet for a few games, and then all of a sudden he explodes. He's had many multi-home run games this year where there's just no stopping him. It's like a pitcher could be pitching BBs, and he would still see the ball and hit it out of the park.
In fact, Castilla had 6 multi-home run games in 1995, and he paid no preference to a particular part of the park.
He hit the ball to right center field.
One thing Don Baylor knows, and he talks to Vinny about, he can hit the ball out in center field or right center.
I don't try to hit a home run, so I just try to get some hits, try to hit the ball hard somewhere, and when I make good contact, the ball jumps.
Adios! Yeah, when you look back on this 95 season, there's going to be a lot written, said about Vinny Castilla.
Playful and friendly, everyone, it seems, likes their adopted cousin, Vinny.
Vinny Castilla from Mexico, always got a smile on his face.
He's happy when he's playing.
He seems to always be smiling. He's always got a happy walk. Vinny's got a big fan following. I think Vinny's really happy to be where he's at right now.
And in early July, he was in Arlington, Texas.
Batting 8th from the Colorado Rockies, third baseman Vinny Castilla.
How proud he must have been representing the first-place Rockies in the 62nd All-Star Classic, joined there by teammate Dante Bichette.
They were 5 games ahead at the All-Star break, and people here, I really think, were pinching themselves, couldn't quite believe it.
Bill Swift had trouble believing his luck in 1995. Twice on the disabled list, he often pitched in pain.
If you see him, you think he's a type of accountant or something, but when he's out on that mound, he's as tough as it comes.
Sinker, slider, changeup, and a great competitor.
Big heart, big heart.
Swift pitched with all heart. He got through a lot of tough times, and he probably proved to a lot of young pitchers that you can pitch when you're not 100% healthy.
I joke with Bill all the time. We always like, God, I wish I had your stuff. The way you are hurt, is still better than, a lot of guys, most of the guys in the big league.
He struck him out. Billy Swift once again rises to the occasion.
Did he ever? Despite the nagging injuries, Bill went 9-3 in 95, and his 7-game winning streak established a Rockies record. Then there's the saga of Brian Ricard, who ascended through the organization at lightning speed and made his Major League debut before 48,000 fans on July 19th.
So he made the jump from AA to AAA to the major leagues all in the same year.
Brian Ricard has 47 professional games under his belt. That's all.
And Ricard ready. Here's the pitch. Fastball called strike 3.
Listen to this crowd.
Standing ovation.
Brian pitched 6 1/3 innings, gave up 3 runs, and made a name for himself.
Brian Ricard at age 23 is officially in the baseball encyclopedia. He has made it as a winner.
Now, what did Brian Ricard do?
Well, something no other Rockies pitcher did all year long.
No one is up in the Colorado Rocky bullpen. Colorado has not had a pitcher pitch a complete game. Brian Ricard has worked the first 8 innings of this game.
Whoever throws the first complete game, the bullpen was going to sprint out there and carry him off the field.
Now the 2-2 delivery is a called third strike. This game is over, and Brian Ricard has pitched the first complete game for Colorado this year.
When it happened, we still sprinted out there, but it was like, well, we can't carry a rookie off the field.
Next time out, Ricard won in Montreal. 3 starts, 3 wins. Way to go, Rook. Somewhat more experienced at putting off the hits, pitcher Kevin Ritz, who led the team in wins and strikeouts just 2 years after reconstructive elbow surgery.
Coming off of surgery that he came off, it was a pretty major deal. He was a guy that really sucked it up.
He wanted the ball all the time. I believe through surgery, the surgeon went in and put in a changeup because before he didn't have a changeup.
Changeup. Bonilla was way out in front. The changeup will get him. That's the old philosophy.
In 1995, it seemed almost every Rockies game was better when pitched by Ritz.
Kevin Ritz just was a big-time shot in the arm this year. You know, I don't think anybody, probably including Kevin, really expected him to come out and pitch like he did.
Kevin Ritz has been simply outstanding tonight.
A guy that you can definitely count on in a rotation, and I think he's only going to get better.
But the Rockies were in a division race and yearned for more experience. At the end of July, they got it from the Mets in Brett Saberhagen.
Starting pitcher for the Rockies, number 31, Brett Saberhagen.
Saberhagen had the perfect name as Savior Hagen.
A savior? Not in 95, though he did win his debut despite giving up 13 hits.
It was like we got a big-name pitcher, and and he gave it his all. He still got the standing ovation when he came out of the ball game.
He won just 2 games for the Rockies in 95, but a healthy Brett in 96 is a mighty pleasant thought. The health of the starting pitchers, or lack thereof, was a problem for the Rockies in 95, and it made the work of their bullpen that much more impressive.
Pitching change. We always have lots of those when the Rockies play anybody.
I got my running in. I didn't have to run before that because I was running back and forth to the mound all the time.
Mike Munoz was one of 4 Rockies relievers with more than 60 appearances. Munoz made 64 trips out of the bullpen. Darren Holmes had 68 appearances and a team-high 14 saves. Steve Reed towed the rubber 71 times, and Curtis Leskanik led the majors with 76. Even Bruce Ruffin got in the act, recording 11 saves despite 2 trips to the DL.
And this game is history. And Ruffin comes on and picks up the save.
How those guys pitched, almost every single day and did the job they did. It's like all winter long, they're going to be walking around wherever their hometown is, and their arms are going to be down to their knees.
There was times I went out there with pretty much one ligament left in my arm, and thinking, man, I don't know if I can go out there and pitch, but you'd be kind of amazed by the time you warm up and walk in the game that how much adrenaline can take over.
Bye-bye. His 27th pitch in 2 innings, he faces 6. He strikes out 5. Curtis Leskanik. Oh, what a great performance.
Leskanik saved 10 games in 95 and led all National League relievers with 107 strikeouts. Dedication and hard work had paid off.
Curtis went to Mexico to try to become a closer. And I think when you make that commitment to go to Mexico in the off-season, I think he was a lot more dedicated when he came to spring training. He kind of evolved into being a closer at the end of the season.
The young right-hander delivers to the plate. Swing and a miss. It's over.
Curtis is living proof that it takes a special breed to be a closer.
A lot of this game is mental, and you have to be able to shun things away, take as many positives as you can out of something. And I think that I learned to do that really well.
If you know Curtis, Curtis has a mind of his own. He's strong-willed and he's strong-minded, and he's mentally tough. He's mentally, he's mentally whacked. Is what it is.
He's also the king of bullpen folklore.
This is the gate to blood, sweat, and tear land. These are our two phones. This one gets used a lot. This one's a clubhouse phone. This calls up. You can call your wife on this or your girlfriend or whatever.
Talk about flaky kids. I mean, they talk about Bichette being a flake. This guy is a real true flake.
There's a cot back here, a water bed.
And all those closers can be a little bit goofy.
You're right. That's a prerequisite to being a good closer. This kid's got it lock, stock, and barrel.
He shaves his arm so that he gets a little more velocity on his fastball.
I get in the hot tub and, relax and shave a little bit.
He is weird.
He can recite my cousin Vinny from the beginning to the end.
I think I'm as sane as the next guy. A couple fans usually know this is my pickup area. We'll drop down some cookies.
Cookies for Curtis.
That's cookies for Curtis. Is it illegal to feed the bullpen?
The lady was calling me over, and I walked over and she dropped a bag of cookies down there. And she goes, here's, make sure you guys are nice and fed for tonight's game. I want you guys to, eat some sugar and get lots of energy. And
But sometimes even the imagination of a closer can run wild.
A lot of guys, this season were waking up with cold sweats. Maybe they would hear the phone during the day and it would shock them. A lot of the guys were complaining about it one day in the locker room. So we decided to get together and go see a psychiatrist. And as we were going to see this psychiatrist and talking to him day to day and from week to week, he thought that maybe if we got like an outdoors-ish type of atmosphere, that this would take some of our frustrations out and it would maybe keep us on an even keel, so to speak. We talked to Bob Gebhardt about it, and he figured that he thinks he can help us out. So he planted these lovely trees and some shrubbery with some flowers in here. He figured that this would help us out a lot. Now there's, a lot of things that we can do with this next year. I mean, we could plant some deer in here and maybe put a little pond over here with some ducks.
He's a nut, there's no doubt about it.
I mean, I think I'm, just perfectly fine.
The Rockies were doing just fine in early August, leading their division by as much as 3.5 games. And as usual, their bats were doing the talking.
2-1 pitch, deep drive, left field. That ball's going. It ain't coming back. Rockies win the game. Vinny Castillo with his 28th home run of the year. It's a 2-run shot, and the Rockies in the bottom of the 9th win this ball game 4-2.
But you don't win games with just offense alone.
Walker, diving catch!
And the 1995 Rockies could throw around the leather with the best.
Kingery coming on, makes a one-handed grab.
Going for two, here's the throw, the dive, and he is out. Rick Wilkins trying to stretch it.
And he hits it. Great stop by Galarraga.
What a play by Dante.
Caught that ball, nor does he. Down to third. Vinny throws off balance in time for the out.
Bouncing ball. EY's got to go a long way. He's got it. Can he get him? Yep.
And a fly ball down the left field line. Dante Bichette slides and the ball's into his glove. How did he catch that ball?
Anthony swings, rolls one, bait slide from the outfield grass, goes to first, got him.
Swung on, line drive center field. Here comes a throw. He's going to be out at the plate. A great throw by Kingery.
My favorite defensive plays, I think, have come from Mr. Underrated himself, Walt Weiss at shortstop.
great plays were routine for the veteran Walt Weiss, who day after day did the job in his own inimitable style.
I know before every pitch he's crouched over, and right before every pitch he does this with his arm. He gets it ready to throw. He gives it, one cock like that. And I've just seen plays where he's gone in the hole parallel to the ground. He gets up and the ball is gone.
Great play by Weiss.
I love watching Walt Weiss play. How he gets some of those balls and then can throw accurately to first base. It amazes me how you've got that dexterity, to do something like that.
And this is a one-hopper to Walt Weiss, the shovel. They get one to double play, they turn it. Oh, Walt Weiss diving to his left.
Almost every game he makes a fantastic play. Dive to his left, pick it up,
gloves,
spin,
360,
throw it,
throw, stretch,
and then Andre scoops it up.
Good play.
The big plays don't show up in the box scores the next day or in the stats, but this guy, if there was 30 home run equivalent in fielding, he did it.
Come September, the Rockies had to face the fact they were indeed in a pennant race, a very nice place to be. And a crucial homestand against the division-leading Reds and Braves would tell a lot about their chances.
The feeling of them coming in, that was like a mini playoff.
The 1-1. Swung on, deep drive, left center field. That ball's going, it ain't coming back. Oh yeah, grand slam, big cat. The Rockies hit the Reds with a 7-run 7th inning.
Pulls it to right. Walker with a run. How about that catch by Larry Walker?
After 2 days in the Mile High City, the Reds come short on the offensive side.
Boy, the Reds' offense looks like for lack of oxygen up here at 5,000 feet.
Tell you what, you want pennant race fever, you want pennant race pressure.
The right-hander's pitch swung on, fly ball to right. Walker's there. He's got it. The Rockies turn away the Cincinnati Reds with the bases loaded in the top of the 9th inning. The Rockies have swept the Reds. They now say hello Atlanta tomorrow night.
Kingery the winning run at second. Walker aboard at first.
The pitch, Galarraga swings, rips it down the left field line into the corner. It's a fair ball off the wall. The Rockies are going to win the game. Kingery scores. 5-4. The Rockies have won it on Galarraga's hit. The Rockies go into first place by a full game over the Dodgers in the West. Don Baylor popped out of that dugout with the biggest jump you'll ever see as Kingery crossed the plate with the winning run.
Sweeping Cincinnati was definitely, and seeing that was great. But boy, getting the Braves, that first game was awesome.
5-game winning streak. If they win one tonight, it would match the longest in franchise history. One of the formulas you use for beating a team is score early and then score more to let them know you're serious.
They're doing it. They're putting it all together. They are a contender. They are definitely going to do something.
Eric Young was a big reason the Rockies were in the pennant race, and so was Jason Bates. Bates, a switch-hitting rookie, was an early season addition to the starting lineup. A welcome one, though not by design.
I made this team as a utility player originally, and next thing I know, I found myself in the lineup, starting job at second base for about 2 or 3 months, and that was awesome.
There's a line drive. Oh, what a grab by Bates. It's an easy double play.
And to be able to contribute offensively when we have so many potent offensive players on this team, it makes you feel good as a rookie, especially because it gives you a lot of confidence and you know you belong here.
First pitch to the switch hitter, and he hits it high and deep to right field. That's got a chance to go. Looking up, Plantier, and that ball is gone. A home run for Jason Bates. His first in the big leagues.
Every little boy's dream is to play in the big leagues, but you have to hit a big league home run. That's something special. So the whole thing was kind of in slow motion, the actual hit and everything. But that was a big thrill for me.
This one's gone and we're tied. Wow, look at this thing. Way upstairs.
Jason's big blasts were a bonus. More important to the Rockies, he hit .370 with runners in scoring position. But Bates suffered a wrist injury in late June, and that paved the way for the return and resurgence of former second baseman Eric Young.
When I got hurt, a lot of people expected me, I think, to be real bitter because I lost my starting job. But I didn't look at it that way at all. I looked at a guy that gave us a legitimate leadoff hitter, and that really carried us offensively.
Well, Lewi's been setting the tone ever since July 1st rolled around. He crushed this ball.
Fact is, Eric hit .406 in July and was a terror on the base paths, stealing 35 bases to lead the team. If something was going on, Eric was in the middle.
As far as spark plugs go, I mean, that's a spark plug. Spark plug, first inning, boom, he gets a hit, and away we go.
The first pitch to EY, he's got a base hit.
There goes the runner. It's a pitch out. Eusebio's throw not in time.
I love to watch him run. He's so fast and so quick and so little that it just gives you a lot of energy watching him.
EY's cap flies loose. That means he is at top speed.
And just when you thought he could do no more, Eric gave his favorite fans a double dose of power.
My goodness. He has back-to-back home runs. Last night and this afternoon. Listen to the ovation for the popular Eric Young. Woo!
But the really big guns were the Blake Street Bombers, Dante Bichette, Larry Walker, Vinny Castilla, and Andres Galarraga.
Bye-bye.
This fearsome foursome blasted 70% of the Rockies' league-leading 200 home runs.
They are collectively such a threat right in the middle of the lineup. And just having them one right after the other coming up to the plate, it's like a pitcher playing Russian roulette and 4 of the 6 chambers are loaded. I just don't think there's any escape from this order, and sooner or later in the course of the game, it's going to get you, and it could get you real bad.
But could all 4 hit 30 or more? First, on August 19th, Dante Bichette.
Here's a deep drive to left, and you can kiss it goodbye. And Bichette has just hit his 30th home run.
Third baseman Vinny Castilla had never hit more than 9 home runs in a season. He hit his 10th on June 6th, and on August 24th...
Here's a high, deep drive to left. Adios! Castilla has just hit his 30th round tripper of the year.
Next up, Larry Walker, who had hit his 100th career home run in May.
This one, if it stays fair. It does! Larry Walker, number 30.
3 with 30. Only the 77 Dodgers ever had 4 30 home run hitters in one season. Time for the Big Cat.
Time to establish a little National League history.
Whoa, he may have.
Does
it?
It
is going. Kiss it.
Yes! All right. Ho, ho. There's number 30.
Big Cat. He likes it. And as usual here in San Diego, he never hits a cheap one.
Come on, Dante.
Is this slow pitch softball or what?
But of all the Blake Street Bombers, one guy's numbers warranted consideration for league MVP. Dante Bichette, the throwback.
Dante is kind of the shaggy guy who looks like he may have just, walked in from playing pinball or something. He looks like the kid down the street with the slingshot hanging out of his back pocket, and he shows up in a sandlot, and all of a sudden he's better than all the other kids.
A lot of people have looked at me like a big kid, like I'm just in a big kid in a toy store here having fun,
The kid who sits on the bleachers, and they said, "Hey kid, you want to play?" He doesn't really look like a ball player, but he shows up and he takes the game over.
I feel like a big kid. I mean, just played baseball ever since I was 9 years old, and I saw Reggie Jackson hit a home run in the World Series. I said that's what I want to do for a living, hit home runs.
The lanky right-hander delivers, swung on, and a high drive, deep left center, and you can kiss it goodbye. Dante Bichette is living in a dream.
What impresses me about Dante is where he has taken himself as a player. When you hit 340 and you're 6'4" and 240 pounds, he's not going to get a lot of infield hits.
Fact is, Dante had 197 hits in '95. No one in the league had more.
Dante is some kind of on fire.
Base hit left field, 23 straight.
Dante Bichette puts that black bat out, and looks at it. And the way he looks at that bat, it's like, this is my buddy, and, you're going to do something big for me.
Oh, my goodness. Out of here.
He led the league with 40 homers and 128 RBIs. He finished third in batting. You can't get much closer to a triple crown. An MVP off the bench was John Vander Wal, a man whose head was always in the game.
Pitch hitting for Rockies, number 35, John Vander Wal.
John Vander Wal, of course, the pitch hitter extraordinaire.
I think the thing about pinch hitting is you're only going to get one at bat, and you can't get frustrated about not making solid contact or making it out, because you're not getting the 3 or 4 at-bats a game like most of the other guys are.
He's just been unbelievable as a pinch hitter this year. He is now 12 for 22.
Looper, Miller won't get it. Vander Wal 16th pinch hit.
John Vander Wal now with 23 on the season. Another pinch hit.
It's like almost having a dominating closer. It's like, hey, Baylor knows that he's got John Vander Wal at any time.
Well, he had him on the verge of a record in San Diego.
John Vander Wal, he smokes one up the middle. John Vander Wal has just tied Jose Morales' record of most pinch hits in one season. That's number 25. He wants the baseball.
And Jose's record was left behind when Vander Wal went to San Francisco.
I was fortunate enough that Sergio Valdez left, I believe it was a changeup up in the zone, and I got full extension on it.
Deep to right, Hill going back, looking up, that ball is gone! A home run for John Vander Wal, and he has set the Major League record for pinch hits in a season in a huge way.
It was a special feeling because I knew that I had just broken the record, and I broke it on a home run, which you can't beat that. I'm not sure if my record will stay that long, or maybe it'll stay longer, but I guess it's the accomplishment that I did break a record, and I'm in the record books, and I'm very proud of that accomplishment.
I had to pinch hit when I was younger, and I just couldn't do it. What he's accomplished this year, it might be one of the most unbelievable feats of the year.
The swing of the master craftsman at work.
As the Rockies and Dodgers prepared for a crucial late September series in Los Angeles, Dodger fans took a little heat.
It's just the lifestyle. People here are more committed to the Rockies, I think. In LA, that's a completely different animal. Those people come in the 3rd, they leave in the 7th.
The people are leaving. It's a no-hitter. You gotta be kidding me. What, you gonna try and beat the traffic, you bozos?
I can't comprehend, especially whenever it's not a blowout, leaving early. It's like, no, we don't do this.
We mentioned the crowd tonight, and I tell you, most of the 46,000 on hand have stayed.
Things like temperature and time of night, they're not important to a Rockies fan.
They've had baseball on the West Coast for 35 years now, and I think they kind of take it for granted.
Los Angeles, it's more of a chic thing to show up at the 3rd inning and have your beer and show everybody your jewelry, and then leave in the 6th or 7th inning to beat everybody else out of the ballpark.
Well, with the fans and the teams at the peak of their game, the Rockies ventured into Los Angeles on September 25th with a 1/2 game lead on the Dodgers.
There's nothing like being in a pennant race and being in September. I mean, the nerves are high, tension's high, and that's why you're here.
It's been a great year. But I tell you what, there's a fine line between being a really great year, a really special year, and just being a good year. And we're walking that line right now, and hopefully we can, get over the edge there.
A slip here could cost a division title, and those tensions were high. Bichette hit his 39th home run to give Colorado a 6th inning lead, but the Dodgers prevailed and knocked the Rockies out of first.
Now, we came in here wanting to win the series. We got to win the next 2 in a row.
No problem in Game 2 as Walker belted 2.
Walker swings, drives this one deep to right center field. Long run for Butler. He's not going to get it. It's gone.
Walker helped the Rockies take the lead. Now it was Tommy's turn to tumble.
Leskanic takes a big deep breath. He stares in for the sign. And the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed, strike three. And the Rockies say hello to first place in the National League West. They've reclaimed it from the Dodgers.
The Rockies trailed by 3 in Game 3 when Dante delivered number 40 to tie it. But the Dodgers won again, and the Rockies saw their title hopes slipping away. But home is where the heart is, and hopefully some wins.
And it'll be interesting to see how the Rockies react to finally getting back home right in the midst of pennant fever.
Well, I think this is the series that they have all been looking forward to.
The final 4 games of the regular season, all 4 against the Giants. Had the Rockies won either of the first 2 games, they would have tied the Dodgers for the division lead. Twice they gave the Giants double-digit runs, and twice they lost.
So those 2 losses, when you think about it, I thought might be our season. If we did not come back and win the next 2, if they would have beat us 3 out of 4, we're out of it.
But following the second loss, Saberhagen sought to shake the Rockies up with salty words of inspiration from one who's been in a pennant race before.
We were down. I mean, you could feel it. Everybody was down that night, that particular night, and I can't repeat exactly what he said, but it was simple and to the point.
Coming from him, coming from a veteran like that who's been there, who knows what it takes to win a championship, it's just a big morale booster.
It made an impact because of who said it and of what he said.
I'd love to tell you about the little speech we had, but there was a lot of curse words, and I had to keep my ears closed because I don't listen to those things. But it was a definite morale booster for me, and I know it was a big boost for a lot of guys.
At first blush, Saberhagen's sizzling speech seemed to work as the Rockies started doing what the Rockies do best.
Hit to the alley. Bonds, will he get it? No, he didn't. Barry Bonds, who usually makes that play, did not. It's a double, and the Rockies lead 6-0.
Here's Larry Walker. This is gone. This one is gone. Whoa, second there. Oh, on the line. Whoa. Larry, 7-2 ball game.
Who would have ever believed that the Rockies in their 3rd year would be knocking on the playoff door? Leskanic delivers the pitch, swung on and missed, strike 3. The Rockies have a very important victory as they set the stage for the series finale tomorrow afternoon.
With 1 game to go, the Rockies control their destiny. The Dodgers had clinched the division. The Houston Astros were 1 back. 1 more win over the Giants for the National League wild card. But for the ailing Brett Saberhagen, this fateful day did not begin as the Rockies might have planned.
This is gone.
Whoa, did he get all of that?
So you're going into that last day with Brett Saberhagen pitching. Say, well, we got a chance. After 3 innings, it's 8-2. And Saberhagen's out. And you look on the scoreboard, Chicago was leading 6-0. Then you look again, it's 6-6. Now you're thinking about a playoff for the next day. So I was desperate that day.
Very quiet crowd right now.
When I watched the board and Houston was tied and we were down 8-2, I was beginning to worry.
Yeah, I was extremely nervous because it's not like the Giants are our chopped liver. You know, they have some very good ball players, and they had a lot of young guys who were trying to make an impression for next year. But I still really believe that we were in the game. I still really thought we had a chance.
And in this ballpark, 8-2 that early in the game, piece of cake.
That ball's got a chance to go, and it is gone. A home run for Ely into the Rockies bullpen. Hit deep. Going back on the ball is Bernard. At the track, at the wall, it's gone! Home run, Larry Walker. It's a 2-run game. The Giants hanging on now at 8-6.
The offensive barrage continued in the fifth. Colorado's attack included 4 straight hits and 4 more runs.
Swung on, cracked down the left field line. It's extra bases. Bichette scores. Walker to third. Galarraga has a double. They have tied the game with 4 consecutive hits.
7-7 there in Chicago, 8-8 here in Denver. Castilla can change that scoring right now. Swings and hits it out to shortstop. That'll get the run home. Walker scores, throw out at first, and the Rockies have overcome that early lead by San Francisco and lead it 9-8.
And Baylor's bullpen was holding down the fort.
And he strikes him out. He strikes him out.
Word came the Astros had won. It was up to Curtis Leskanic to prevent a one-game playoff.
The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed, and that's out number 1. The 0-2 pitch, strike 3 call. Leskanic has struck out the first 2.
But a Glenn Allen Hill single called for words of encouragement from Baylor.
I walked out and just looked him in the face and just told him, this is what it's all about for us right here. You're responsible for getting the last out of the game, and let's go.
If someone said, like in spring training this year, you're going to be the closer and you're going to be on the mound when you guys clinch it, and I would have said, no way, I don't believe that. Because me going into this season, I was just hoping to make the team, you know.
A race for the playoffs, arriving just a little early for the Rockies organization. They never thought it would come in year 3. They've got the chance today.
Ground ball to first. Galarraga's got it. They've done it. The Rockies have done it. Their wildest dreams have come true by way of the wild card. They are in the playoffs. It's a mob scene out there beyond the mound and second base as the Rockies are celebrating. They are in the playoffs before their 3rd birthday.
You know, I don't think people knew how to act winning a wild card spot. You know, it's never been done before, so we didn't know how we were going to act. But when he got that last out to assure us in the playoffs, he jumped about 6 feet high, and the whole team did too.
I mean, after I threw the pitch and saw Cat tag first base, man, I don't know what it was. I just got this wave of heat that ran up through my feet all the way to my head.
And it made it sweeter coming back. When you win those type of games, there's not a sweeter feeling.
The way we battled back from being down 8-2, what it meant to the organization, what it meant to our region, the pride that I had, it was a bit overwhelming. My partners were pounding on me, my family was enjoying it. I had some very pleasant thoughts about my family and the things that had been accomplished with this and this group of players.
The Rockies then paid their annual tribute to the fans, but this year the victory lap was oh so sweet.
When they made that walk around the stadium, I mean, I don't know if there was a dry eye in the house. And just seeing the smiles on their faces as they walked around, there's no words to describe that feeling. I mean, it's a magical moment, it really was.
And it was an emotional thing. I know that it was a couple of times I just walked around and was looking around and I just couldn't believe that here I am on one of the best teams in baseball, in the best ballpark, with the best fans.
I ran down, I mean, I ran all the way down to the end of the row here. And part of me thought, you know, look, I'm a 39-year-old man, you know, is hero worship really, you know, cool for you? And I thought, oh, the hell with it, you know. And so I'm running down there, and it was like the Beatles coming here in '65 or something, you know, at the airport in New York with, you know, screaming at all the players. I didn't care. I was having such a great time.
I mean, we have the greatest fans in baseball. How can you not, you know, acknowledge them after something like that?
Probably could have made a difference in this ball game.
The celebration for baseball's first ever wild card team ranged from giddiness to heartfelt emotion. Outside, a delirious city rejoiced, filled with pride and pennant fever, now anxious to take that next step.
Yeah, playoff! Yeah!
That being a postseason game in Coors Field's very first year, a best-of-5 division series. Unfortunately, the Rockies faced the Atlanta Braves with a 30-6 lifetime record against Colorado.
Home run, Vinny Castilla. Rockies lead 3-1.
Back to Maddox. Pitcher to home to first. He gets the fourth double play of the night. Oh, what a play by Walt Weiss. And the Atlanta Braves hold on, but barely. On the first pitch of the ball game, Marquise Grissom gives the Atlanta Braves a 1-0 lead. His second.
Walker's just hit a 3-run homer. It's all even.
McGriff around third, heading home. Here's the throw by Kingery. The slide. He is safe. The Atlanta Braves have taken a 2-0 lead in this best-of-5 series.
So the series moved to Atlanta, where, with their backs to the wall, the Rockies responded.
Home run for Eric Young. 3-0 Rockies. And that one's gone. Fly ball, shallow left field. Bichette coming on. Can't get it. We are tied 5-5. Deep short and by Mordecai in the left field. Here comes Bichette around third, heading home. The throw by Ryan Klesko won't get him. And the Colorado Rockies have forged back in front, 6-5. Here's Fred McGriff with 2 outs. Line drive, right center field. Coming on is the right fielder Larry Walker. And the Colorado Rockies have scored their first ever playoff victory.
It was, of course, the last game they'd win in '95, and the Braves would go on to capture the World Series. But for Manager of the Year, Don Baylor and the Colorado Rockies, the 1995 season was still a wonderful success. A team and its fans, more than 3 million strong, for whom there was no place like home.
I had a bunch of players that I was honored to manage, and I had something to give back to the fans. I had a team that they fell in love with.
They really didn't have to be winners. They were winners before they ever stepped on the field, just Denver having a baseball team. So them having a winning season was like icing on top of the cake.
Everybody said we couldn't do it, and we did it. Just the resiliency of the team with bouncing back all the time, grinded it out.
Here we have this beautiful new park. It was christened by a very good, competitive, playoff caliber team. And above it all was this love affair between team and fan. That's what I will really remember about this edition of the Colorado Rockies.